G'day, gang. I wanted to talk about a game today that's actually been really irritating me. I want to talk about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. So, I played the ever-loving shit out of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 1. It was it was a game that was unfinished when it was created, and fans completed it. So, it is it's a pretty crazy story that this game has. Supposedly, it was in development hell for a while, and then there was a lot of unfinished elements and a lot of issues and a lot of bugs that fans fixed, which to me is quite crazy given how polished the end product ends up feeling if you get the fan patch. And I think it was one of the most unique and interesting and nuanced and just complicated stories. I think that I think I've talked about like the kind of core dynamics of vampire, like as a setting, like the vampire setting, as the fantasy setting. And I think that a huge part of it is about power and seduction and just base animal instincts. And I think that's why it appeals to a lot of us, because we kind of enjoy living in this cultivated, civilized society. So being able to play a video game where you're supposed to be the bad guy is pretty fun, especially for someone like me who's a little sad person and always has to play the good guy, even though I'm kind of a dick. Oh, sorry. Ow. Wow. Unlucky. Um, I muted that time. You're welcome, ears. But I wanted to talk about how you can have such a great concept, you can have such a great example, and then you can so catastrophically fuck it up. Because Bloodlines 2 is not a bad game. It's a game. It's fun. It's got characters. I love the White Wolf's setting of Vampire the Masquerade. I love the complications of the elements involved. I love that there's not just like multiple bloodlines, but there's multiple different types of vampires. Like you have those real unfortunates who have to eat human flesh. And then you have the Eastern vampires that are so advanced they don't have to drink blood at all. They feast on essence, and those differences in the setting. I think it's one of the coolest and like expanded settings of something that was actually limited, very limited. Like going back through all the vampire stuff, I'm not a massive nerd for it, but I think that I kind of got into it early because seeing Bram Stoker's Dracula as a movie when I was really little, it was as a young person, it was pretty eye-opening. So suddenly I was like, what in the hell is this? So I got hooked on trying to understand why it appealed to me, because it's so animalistic and basic. Like it's so base instinct, and it's so many power dynamics. So it is something that appealed to me as a younger kid. I'm not interested in the romance aspects of it. That's not my flavor. For all the Twilight people out there, you enjoy that. That is awesome. I'm glad for you. It's not my favor. Like if it's on, I'll watch it, but it's not my preference. I think the more animalistic variants of it, the more sort of like the stuff for more male audience, effectively, I find more appealing because I think it's more interesting and nuanced. I don't really like the watered down variants of the genre myself. But anyway, back to the game. Bloodlines 2 is a good game. It's a fine game, but it's always going to be compared to the first game, which was infinitely better. I think if you played it without playing the first game, or if you played this game first and then you played the first game, I think you'd really like both. You'd go, wow, what exceptional progression. But the reason I bought it, and I think most people bought it, is because of the first game. So I definitely think we got suckered into a product that we didn't want but we did enjoy. And that leaves me with a really interesting moral question personally. Did I get fleeced? I knew it wasn't going to be Bloodlines 1. I was following the development. So I'm an informed consumer. But there are a lot of people who were not following the development of this particular title. They didn't know it was in developmental hell. They didn't know they fired the original writer from the original game. Why would you do that? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with your brain? Like, come on. And I knew. I did know. But I still wanted something remotely akin to the first game. I was informed and still naive. So I think it's a pretty complicated situation for me to define if this game is a scam from what I expected it to be. It is not. The NPCs don't even move. Like, they just feel so static and locked in place, and you can do, like, effectively no romance. There's a romance with one character that I have zero interest in. The only character I have any interest in is gay, and I picked a female character, so rip love for my bozo. But I think you could only do a situation anyway, situationship, as they say, as the young people say. But I think it's really weird how limited they made this when they had a lot more potential and a lot more scope, and obviously it was a lot more expensive. But they really, games need to tone down the graphics, make them stylized instead of having to make them realistic. I thought I said that wrong and I said that correctly. Sorry, I tripped myself up there. Wow. I think that go back to gameplay over appearance, I think. And I think this is a tricky genre to do that in, because the immersion and the realism is part of the setting. You want it to feel more authentic, but I think you could have done that with a more stylized approach. And stylized meaning less time spent on graphics too. It doesn't always mean that, but you can mean that, as in to put less money in graphics and more money in gameplay and story. And please don't make the only character that I can romance some, like, really sad little lady. There's one romance. It's a story avenue that you shouldn't lock down. Look, I don't need romance in a story, but if you give it and it's only one character, it is so weird. Just don't give it at all if it's for one weird little character, especially given that it just feels so contrived and uncomfortable. And I feel like this character, I don't know her name. I haven't even completed the game, but I've almost completed it and I can't remember this stupid character's name. Science Lady, okay? Look, Science Lady starts calling me my love after I just said, look, I'm here for you. I'm your buddy. Bro, I did not consent to be in, like, this half romance situation with her, and she weirds me out. And now every time I have a quest with her, I'm like, please, no, please don't make me talk to that weird lady. She skeeves me out, and I have no threat associated with this tiny little woman at all. And still, like, how did they manage to do that? Like, how did you manage to fuck up that hard that I can't romance the hot biker dude, but I get stuck with some weird little science chick? It's so weird. I think a lot of the characters are really cool. I will say that. I think they have a lot of potential. I like the power dynamics. But I also hate the way that you can't have choice. I almost had a blood doll. How come I couldn't have a blood doll? It didn't give me the option to choose to have my little servant. Excuse me, this is a game about power dynamics. I want power over other characters. Yeah, this is going to be a weird video. It's very revealing. Look, it's make-believe. I'm a normal person mostly in real life, okay? Give me my weird power dynamics in my video game, okay? Let me have that. But yeah, have you guys played this game? What do you think about it? Like I said, I'm not finished yet, and I'm still just like, why? There are so many things they got right, but oh my god. Please don't make me play Fabian. Please. I have zero interest in this dude. Like, I don't care. He is the least interesting Malkavian in existence. I don't think, like, how could you make a Malkavian not interesting? For anyone who's not aware of this, the setting, it's called Bloodlines because they have specific different sires who pass their blood down to different, I think they call them child with an E. So they pass their bloodline down, their lineage. And if you get their bloodline, you get their quirks, which in this case is excessive in the only good way I've ever seen excessive done well. It's really fun. Malkavians are nuts, basically. They get called prophets. They can see things that they can understand things in ways that we can't, basically. But a lot of them are just like have multiple personality or are schizophrenic. They are actually insane. And they are, I think, one of the most awesome and unique and difficult bloodlines. And I definitely played one in the first game because there is a way to expand that and interact with another Malkavian in the first game, and it is exceptional. It is exceptional, honestly. I'm not going to say anything about the first game. If you haven't played it, please play it. It is one of those, if you enjoy RPGs and you enjoy stories and you haven't played Bloodline the Masquerade, please. It is so good. And the laws that the setting has is just phenomenal. Of we're intentionally trying not to break the masquerade that our kind doesn't exist. Like that there is just fantastically limiting on what is already a power fantasy, and I think that is a fantastic check and balance, and it just makes it really, really fun, specifically as an interactive element. Exceptional, honestly. The setting is just fantastic, but please tell me how you guys feel about Bloodlines 2. I'm struggling to get through it. Also, so a lot of the game revolves around the fact that my character broke the masquerade very early, and I'm just constantly breaking it throughout the city, and there's no real ramifications if you basically just stand away from police officers in plain sight. Why? Also, you can climb the rooftop and just like go on a murder hobo rampage killing spree, and they'd be like, lol, bye. So game mechanics versus story is very, very, it's not good. It's not good. There is a lot of limitations. I mean, I'm looking at the time. This is already a long video, but it's just not a good game compared to the first game, compared to the setting, compared to its scope, compared to its potential. The non-commitment in terms of development is really disappointing. Yeah, it could have been really great. And I could have romanced the biker. He's pretty hot. Like, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just so disappointing. Also, a lot of the NPCs will literally only offer you fetch quests. They have entire, like, NPCs just for fetch quests. And there's just so many weird story choices too. Like, there is a very important NPC who has specific blood tastes, which is a quirk of a specific bloodline. It can be a quirk of a specific bloodline. I mean, can be a quirk of any, but particularly this bloodline. And for some reason, the complete stranger who just joined the city is tasked to find, like, to fix this. Like, why would you not have, like, an established option for this? Like, why does it keep getting put down to the character? Like, how completely powerless and flaccid are the leadership in this city? And I don't think it's supposed to be that bad. I think it's supposed to be a complicated leadership, don't get me wrong. But I think they go a little bit too far with it in a lot of senses. I think some of the character dynamics are great. Some of the characters are really interesting. Some of the characters are nuanced. And some of the lines are really well written, which is kind of bait. Because if the game was just bad, I could laugh at it. But there are moments where it's actually really fun and really interesting, and there are moments where I'm like, oh, I like this quest line. Oh, that's interesting. And some of the places that they let you go into this very limited locked world suddenly become interesting. But most of the time it's not interesting. You're just locked into this very small playground, which sucks. It sucks. Give me more space. In the first game, you had multiple different areas, multiple different sections of the game, and I think the way that you were playing, so it's not a spoiler, I'm trying to talk very spoiler free basically, but in the first game, you were a fledgling. You were newly made. In the first few seconds of the game, you witness your sire being killed. And then you have to deal with the ramifications of being out on your own. It is chilling in that sense. It's uncomfortable, and the power dynamics are way, way beyond your head and awesome and spectacular. And I think that is part of the formula in which that made that game so particularly awesome. Also, some of the quests are just awesome in that game. There is a horror quest line that chills a lot of people, and a lot of people actually want to skip it because of how scary it is. And I think there is some genuinely scary moments in the game, and I love it. I played it when I was quite young, and I got addicted to this sort of, I think that's another reason I got addicted to the genre, was because of how good this game was. But Bloodlines 2 doesn't resonate. Like, I love this setting. I loved the first game. And the second game just doesn't hit. I'm just stuck in what I know is, wow, screen turn off. That was, I've been talking for that long about this. I'm that pissed off at this sad little game. I think this is my longest video ever. Oh my gosh. But I'm so, it's so close to being genuinely good story, but being an elder in the second game, which was my point before I got stuck on 12 tangents, you just don't feel like an elder. Like, it doesn't feel like you have actual power because the mechanics are so limiting, and the options that you have in story is so limiting too. Like, it's the fact that you can't even request, you can't say, yo, give me this type of like person. I want to have a ghoul. And I haven't played through the whole game, so maybe that happens in the game. But the fact that I don't have a ghoul, bro, for people not familiar with the lore, that's basically like a you give them their thralls, you give them a little bit of the blood, but they're not your child, you know. And the fact that I can't make anyone as an elder and stuff like that, you shouldn't give me this power and then tell me I can't use it. It just feels bad. But yeah, how do you guys get along with this game? Have you been able to endure it to completion? Yeah, I think I'm just going to do more series on specific games I like, because I have obviously too much to say about games I don't like even. What do you guys think? Did you guys play the first game? Does this inspire you to play the first game? Please, if you play the first game after hearing me say all this, please tell me. I'm so excited to see how you get on with it. I think this is one of my favorite games of all time. The first game. I think it's really cool. It definitely has its technological limitations, and a lot of computers actually have problems playing older games. So you might have to go to somewhere like Good Old Games to get it, to make sure that it has no compatibility problems and stuff like that. But it's a genuinely good, nuanced, complicated, and fantastic game with these really, and the reason that I like these power dynamics is because they're so dramatic and they're so like story heavy. You know, power dynamics I think are one of my favorite elements in a story because of how they can be used and abused, and because of how you can overcome that and come back from it. It ultimately has so much complications with power dynamics that it makes it so fun, which is why I tend towards this genre, being the vampire genre specifically. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you hate the game? Are you also like me and followed the dev thing and still felt misled? Did you not follow the dev thing and felt disappointed? What do you think about the story? What do you think about the characters? Are you also really sad that if you played a woman, you can't get with a biker? Look, it really bothered me, okay? It's such a stupid thing, but why do that to me? I don't want science chick, she's weird. Tell me what you think. Very interested in opinions on this game because, yeah, I'm really struggling to get through it with my limited time. I'm really questioning if I should finish it, which is something that I don't usually do. I almost always finish story games, so what do you guys think? If you want more of this type of content, please give me a like. If you want me on the platform, please, subs mean the world to me. And even if you've already subbed and you really want me to around, please share it with your friends. I really want those subs so I can actually know that people want me here. It means the world. I hate to ask. I feel gross, but it means the world. But really, tell me what you think about this stupid game. I need to know. Bye, guys.